So honored to have the new Miss Texas for 2026, everyone. And look at this gorgeous woman. I want you to introduce yourself. I was going to introduce you, but this is great practice for you. So saying it for the only fifth time, maybe?
Yeah.
Introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, my name is Regan Hutsell. I am a Houston native, and now I am proud to hold the title of Miss Texas. I know, I have to like pinch myself.
I know. Are you like freaking out right now?
Still, yes.
Still.
Or even every single time I see the crowning video, my stomach still drops a little bit. It's crazy to still watch. It feels so fresh, but so right at the same time.
It is.
Like, it feels really beautiful to have this badge across my chest, but I'm still so excited.
I know, and it was just a few days ago that you actually received the crown and the sash, going from Miss Houston to Miss Texas, and you were going to be headed to Miss America.
Yeah.
Could you ever even imagine all of this?
No, not at all. I remember actually my very first introduction to pageants was when we got dance headshots taken. I must have been 6 or 7 at the time. It's always 6 or 7 nowadays.
Yes. Did you
Sorry
just
about
see
that.
6, 7 on me. Oh my God.
But we walked into the studio, and I remember looking up at the wall in the photography studio and seeing a woman in a crown. And he had all of these pageant headshots on the wall. I said, I don't know what that is, but she looks so cool. Like, that is the most beautiful, confident woman I've ever seen, and I want to do that someday.
And she had a sparkly hat on too,
And
which is
she
kind of
did,
cool.
which really helped. I think as a little girl, I remember anything that glittered, anything that sparkled, but even more than the crown, and you know this too, it's the inside out confidence that you just see in every single person who competes. And so now standing on this side of things, after having followed the Miss America pageant system over the years from afar, just kind of watching, keeping an eye on things, and now having stepped on the stage last week at Miss Texas, which I watched Miss Texas back in 2018 and was still like, wow, that's so cool. I don't know if I could ever do that. That looks like a lot, which it is. But equally as much, just standing there last week was so surreal. And now thinking about going to Miss America, standing on that stage, being surrounded by all of the other contestants from other states is just a dream come true.
It's got to be blowing your mind.
Literally blowing my mind. Literally.
I love that. So I want to go back a little bit more, not to the 6, 7 time, which is not going to be stuck in my head, people. That's just it. But the moment you finally decided to enter a pageant, which is, for a lot of people in the pageantry industry, is still, they're in shock. Being in a pageant is still brand new for you. Being Miss Texas is only, correct me if I'm wrong, your second pageant ever.
Yes, that's true.
Your first one was when you won Houston.
Yes.
So why did you decide, after all of these years watching, looking at the pictures on the wall, seeing friends compete, things of that nature, that you decided to take that step and that leap of faith to enter into pageantry?
Absolutely. So last summer, I found myself in a position where I had left the ballet company that I was dancing for in England. I'd been there for 3.5 years. I came home. I was in a season where I was just helping take care of my family. My granddad has dementia, and so they had moved in with us, and we had spent a good amount of time just full-time caregiving. And last summer, the dream popped back in my head. I was in this interim season where I was just figuring out what was coming next for me, and I thought, I've always wanted to do this. The time is kind of now or never. I'm still between 18 and 28. I have no prospects.
You're honest.
I have no prospects.
Yet.
Yet. All in the Lord's timing, you know? And it's kind of now or never. It's just me holding me back. It would literally, there's no crazy time commitment with trying to be a professional dancer or trying to manage that career or managing training or managing schooling in terms of like high school back when I thought about competing originally. And it would just be me being afraid to do it that was standing in the way. And so I remember kind of, again, that dream popped back in my head in July, but it wasn't until August that I was out to coffee with a friend, and I kind of mentioned it, and she said, no, do it. Like, send the email now. So I picked up my phone, I like scrolled on the local orgs, and I found my director's email. And there at that coffee shop, we drafted an email, and then I went home later and sent it later that night.
And that was August of 2025,
That
then,
was
right?
August of 2025.
Okay.
Yeah, and then my director called me, and she said, well, do you think think you want to compete? She wasn't my director yet at the time. And I said, yeah, sure, let's go for it. I think I can do it. It was 7 weeks away at the time, Miss Houston was. And so I was like, oh, I'll just go to Dillard's, like find a gown or go somewhere else. And so we went shopping. We got all my wardrobe pieces for interview, for the gown, for itself, for the pageant.
And that's for Houston.
And that was just
the
for
local.
Houston.
Okay.
The local, yes. And jumped both feet in, had my parents do so much interview prep with me. I remember we had our little folding table set up in the living room, and I would walk in practicing saying, hello, judges, nice to meet you. And they would just grill me and ask me all the questions I could. But I really think having so much time and stage experience with being a professional dancer, growing up, talking to people, I was a Radio City Rockette, and so...
Yeah, I love how you just dropped, oh yeah, I was a Radio City Rockette. Like, it's like everybody can do it. No, they can't. No, they can't. That alone we're going to have to get into. But
yes,
let's get back to the pageantry
100%.
part real
So
quick.
I think all of that stage experience and the life experience did really transfer in. You learn so many transferable skills as a dancer. And so coming into pageants, getting to know exactly kind of who I was and what I wanted to champion really did help going forward in the process.
Oh, that is so cool. And then you ended up entering the Miss Houston pageant in the
Yes.
Miss America system.
Yes.
You end up winning, and
Yes.
then it's time to prepare for Miss Texas in the America system.
Yeah.
What was that prep like? Because I know your director. I've known your director for a very long time,
Yeah.
and she is meticulous about getting all of her girls together. So what was that like for you?
It was a lot, but equally as much, I think the preparation happened over the year, which is really what she was talking about. So right away, I remember our first event came up really quick, and there you are, and you're speaking, but the crowd you thought you were speaking to is different than the actual crowd you were speaking to. So learning a lot on the fly about how to be a good title holder, how to get out into the community, really how to balance the prep side of things with title holder responsibilities. I think the best part about the Miss America opportunity is that it prepares you in a really well-rounded way. You kind of feel like Barbie in a sense.
Yes.
To where you're out and you get to have the beautiful service part of it, but equally as much you're thinking about competition prep and preparing your talent, but also preparing your community service initiative and getting out in the community in that way, and also learning how to do interview prep and answer on-stage questions and get a really well-rounded view of what you feel like you stand for in terms of so many different aspects of the world. And then also in the Miss Texas system, they basically have this beautiful thing called Best of Texas, which prepares you to be a title holder. So you have advertisement sales for the Miss Texas magazine, and so you're out in the community asking people to basically donate to scholarships for women. And so you really learn how to be a great brand ambassador throughout the process. But it is a lot. It felt like drinking out of a fire hose. And then,
Oh my gosh.
And then you have your paperwork that you get to turn in and get to write about all the things that you've done. So each step of the way, you add another layer. And I think that's the cool part about it is there's never an ending of the preparation.
That's true.
You're always preparing, which is just like that in life. The second you think you've arrived is when you're probably doing something wrong. And so the beautiful part about this is that there is always a next step of preparation. But to go back to your original question, a lot. Just sum it up in one word, a lot.
A lot. No, that's true. That's true. And then you're at Texas Week,
Yeah.
which involves a lot too, because not only are you rehearsing,
Yeah.
but you have interview, you have the faces of competition. So I want to talk about that briefly, but also explain to people who are watching, because I got this from some of my colleagues. I had to explain to them what the Miss America opportunity is about, because full disclosure, I was part of that as a former Miss Houston and
Yes,
Miss
you were.
Arlington. I moved to finish school. I was Miss New Mexico. I know what you're going through. So this is different. This system is different than any other pageant system out there. It's been around for over 100 years. I'm going to stop talking because I want you to talk about it. Tell people what it's all about and tell people how it's different from other pageants out there.
It's all about female empowerment and empowering you in so many different ways. But the best thing about the Miss America opportunity is the scholarship money that you can win towards your education. Just last week, as a first-time competitor, I won over $33,000 to pay for my education, towards my education, which is the biggest difference between Miss America and any other system that there is out there. Everybody has a community service initiative that you champion, but truly what you put into it, what you put into your community, you receive back in so many ways. But the biggest thing about competing is the empowerment that comes from scholarship money.
Right, and just winning the title was the $30,000, and the
Yes.
other money came from the preliminary competitions
Exactly.
that you won as a rookie. Second pageant on stage and winning 1, 2, 3 after the other. That was incredible. Also, there's a talent phase of the competition, not only with interview and everything else, but that also stands out as well as being different from other pageants too.
It does for sure. And the ability to prepare your talent. And the great thing about it is growing up as a dancer, you go to dance competitions, but everybody's just dancing. And so to show up during competition week and see the fact that some people poured into their beautiful voice. One of my fellow sisters did science. She's an incredible scientist. She's working on her PhD next year. She's going to start working on that. And so watching her take the Miss Texas stage with science, empowering young girls who want to be scientists, to see her on that stage was amazing. And then other people did things like line dancing or cheer stunting. My new teen did cheer, which is crazy. And watching her literally flip across the stage, be held up by a boy, and like not fall. I was like, you're amazing, girl. My hat goes off to you. But that's the coolest part about the Miss America opportunity is that it's not one look. It's not one thing. It's really about empowering as many different people as possible to step into their purpose.
And there's also a purpose. You mentioned just briefly about the CSI, or Community Service Initiative. Explain to people what that is and what yours is.
Yes, the Community Service Initiative is a cause that every single woman takes up and champions throughout her reign, whether it's a local title holder, a state title holder, or even our national title holders. And they basically have a cause that they champion. So mine is called Build a Home, which gives people of all ages the tools to build a better inner dialogue, find happy and healthy within themselves. It really stems from my journey as a dancer. I had an eating disorder, and throughout that recovery, I realized that I needed tools to basically rebuild the relationship that I had with myself, to speak kindly to myself, to look in the mirror and have the ability to stand and say, I don't just like what I see, I love what I see, and I love who I am. And kind of being able to go on that journey myself and really navigate being a woman in today's society and coming back into myself after really speaking so unkindly to myself for so long. And so even if on my school program, I take my little toolbox, which has all my tools in it, and I take household tools and use them as mindset metaphors, like a hammer, to shatter unhelpful beliefs and build up a better inner dialogue, or my measuring tape, which talks about not comparing yourself or not measuring up to others, but really measuring your own growth throughout the way. And I have more tools like that I use when I go out to schools to speak to students, and it's been really cool to see the impact, and really turning my story into a survival guide and my resilience into a roadmap for others has been beautiful to see.
What has been the, I guess you could say, reaction you've been receiving from these young people when they realize that you have gone through something too, and you found your own worth amongst your own journey?
I think you see hope flash back in the eyes, which is really beautiful. So often you see people who stand in front of you who you're inspired by because of what they've accomplished, but then when you hear that they've had a story, it adds a depth of hope to that. I remember standing in front of elementary school students and this little girl raising her hand and asking, well, did I have dyslexia? Did you ever struggle like learning as a child, and being able to share my different stories about how I had struggles and how I had triumphs. And when you're standing in front of kids, or I was at a high school and I tore my ACL and I tore my meniscus as a dancer, and I remember sharing that story while I was talking about my community service initiative, and watching multiple high schoolers who were sitting in those moments just break down and realize that there was another side of it, and you can still have a professional career in the sport that you were training for. So the beautiful part about this is my story is multifaceted, and everybody's story is in the world, but getting to stand with a crown on my head, a sash across my body, and say, I stand for hope, and I stand for the fact that there's another side, you really do watch that hope come back into their eyes, and it is all worth it.
That's fantastic. Well, I want to go back to something that you also brought up, because one of the things that you compete in talent is you are, as you have mentioned throughout this interview, you are a dancer.
Shocker.
Yeah, just a little bit. No, I love it. The dancer in me is like, yes, which is phenomenal. But I want to go back to being that Radio City Rockette, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. When did you start that journey? And tell me what that experience was like for you and what you're using from that to make you a better Miss Texas.
Absolutely. And the story of that is wild. When I say that it was such a God story, it is so crazy to me, because that was an opportunity that I never should have had that ended up kind of coming my way in the perfect amount of time. So when I was 18 years old, that is your big audition season as a dancer. And so I stepped out into my audition circuit, and the very first audition I went to was at IABD, which stands for the International Association of Blacks in Dance. And they have a beautiful conference and festival every year. That year it happened to be in Dayton, Ohio. And my mom said, let's pack up, let's get on the plane, we're going. I said, okay, Mom. I love to be prepared. I'm an over-preparer. And so I was really there for the ballet audition that took place, I think, on Sunday. Sunday. But Saturday, they had a summer intensive audition for women of color, and I attended it to get the jitters out, honestly, if I'm
makes
super
sense.
honest, right? You travel, it's 12 degrees outside. I'm from Houston. I need to like...
Wait, you said 12 degrees?
It was 12 degrees. I think I had like...
Houstonians are like, wait, I'm sorry, what?
No, I think I had like 4 jackets on, 3 pairs of pants the whole time, leg warmers, everything.
That's what your freezer's supposed to be like.
Right?
Well, that's
no,
2 degrees, but that's
exactly.
different.
No, but like I literally, if you left me out long enough, I would have been a popsicle. Like it would have been crazy. And so I showed up, and the Rockettes happened to be there, and from that, I got a scholarship to go to their summer intensive, and I ended up taking it because I thought it's going to give me great experience as a professional ballet dancer. I'm going to learn how to be a quarter ballet member, stay in line, learn
Yes.
how to be detailed.
Yes.
Perfect, good training. And at the end of the week, I was really encouraged to audition after attending the summer intensive.
Really?
And so from there, I ended up getting invited to an audition prep workshop, and then that went straight into the 2-day audition for Rockettes. And when I showed up for that, there were 500 girls. The line was wrapped around the outside of Radio City Music Hall, which is wild. And then the first cut, they took us down to 250. By the end of the first day, there were 33 girls who had not done the job. And then by the end of the second day, I think there were only 17 of us who hadn't done the job before. And then they send you back home. And you wait for
Wait, you have to wait. After all of
Yes.
that, they don't. Oh,
No.
that's harsh.
Yes, they send you back home, and you wait for 2 weeks about.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, and so
Sorry.
yes,
I'm just so
right.
floored right now.
No, it's crazy. And for 2 weeks, you're literally just glued to your phone, waiting for this phone call to come in, or not come in. And so at the end of around, I think it'd been about 2 weeks, I remember that it was summer, I had gone swimming, I got in the shower, and I picked up my phone after, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a missed call from New York. And so I called them back right away, and I basically was told then that I got the job of a lifetime, and it changed my life. I think stepping into the history, the legacy, Rockettes are truly a beautiful symbol, really similar like the Miss America opportunity, of hope, of resilience, of history, of legacy, of an iconic group of women who come together and make magic for people, who spread joy. The slogan for that season was "Make time for joy."
Yes.
And when you think about it, Christmas is the busiest time of year, and people make time to go see the Rockettes
All the time.
because it's a symbol of joy, it's a symbol of hope, it's a symbol of unity. Our phrase was "better together," and as a Rockette, that is really what you learn. And now that I take that and transfer it into the Miss America opportunity, Rockettes taught me how to be a strong, powerful woman. It taught me to embrace my height. I stand at 5'8". My siblings are 5'4", which they 5'4"
like,
on
wait,
a good day.
who are you?
Yeah, exactly. And so for so long, I didn't embrace my height. I didn't embrace my body being a little bit more muscular. And so at Radio City Music Hall, those things were really celebrated. It was about celebrating you as a woman, celebrating the fact that we're all different, but we're better together. And when you're standing around 80 or 79 other strong, powerful women, you learn how to stand tall in a different way. And that's what I'm carrying into this year as a title holder, is how to stand tall, how to use my voice. I learned how to be a brand ambassador while at Radio City Music Hall. And so it's beautiful to get to see all of the ways that the things have filtered in, and now it's included on this beautiful journey that I'm stepping into.
And speaking of which, you're stepping into another journey in August to participate and compete for the title of Miss America. If you have this opportunity and this door is open to you, what will you do with it?
I'd use it to share my voice on a greater platform. I think that's the biggest thing, is that I have so much to say. I know that I've always had the purpose of helping people, even in a company, even if it was a granola bar, if it was electrolytes when we were all struggling, if it was just being that shoulder to listen and to cry on, or a pre-show prayer. I've noticed that I've always had a massive passion for helping people. And I think that's truly where my community service initiative stems from. And that's what I would use the title of Miss America to do, to help as many people as possible, but to also spread awareness about this beautiful opportunity that women of any background can step into and find their voice, find their purpose, find their calling, and make a difference on the world. If you think about it, every single person who enters into the Miss America opportunity really does change their community, and to have more incredible, strong, brave, resilient young women using their story and their voices to change their communities, we are going to see the biggest difference in our world.
That's fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching and listening to Regan Hutsell, everyone. She is Miss Texas 2026 and the Miss America system. Follow her. Tell them your social media so we can follow you everywhere.
Yes, you can find me at Miss America TX or at Regan Hutsell.
Well, congratulations. You're making all of us here in Houston, yes, because she's a Houston native.
Come
We
on.
love it. Here around Texas, the Lone Star State has got your back. But around the country, we are so excited for you and can't wait to see the next step in your journey, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure talking with you
It's been
today.
wonderful talking to you as well.